Alexander and Vicky. How are your week so far? How are things with you guys? Sweden. Soon everybody is good. So as I said, at 10 past we start. It's now 10 past. So let's try to jump in. Welcome again, everyone, to another Read the Game session by Jubel FC. Topic for today is the use of effective practice to improve your coaching. And the presenter will be Theon Gordon. Notes and study was based on a document presented by George Jones, and try to see how far we can delve into this topic tonight. Feel free to stop me at any given time. Throughout this presentation, it will be more of a conversation, so feel free to jump in and let's each share our opinion and try to see how we could each help each other to learn a bit more. Without reflection, we go blindly on creating more unintended consequences and failing to achieve anything useful. Without reflection, we go blindly on our way, creating more unintended consequences and failing to achieve anything useful. This is our quote for today. Our topic, again, use of reflective practice to improve coaching. The objective will be what is reflective practice, inaction versus unaction, and levels of reflection. What are the elements we as coaches can reflect upon? Models of effective practice, informal reflection, and then we have our conclusion. So let's jump right into the topic. What is reflective practice? How do I know? What do I know? How do I know? What do I know? By asking yourself this question, you have already begun reflecting. Reflective practice is a way of studying your experiences to improve the way you work. Again, once we begin asking ourselves questions, it is part of our process of reflecting on activities or experiences which we may have experienced. The purpose of reflection is to improve our coaching as well as understanding our practice better. This then improves the context that our coaching takes place in. Over the years, we may be coaching a specific topic, but have we asked ourselves the right questions to see how we can improve this said practice that we have? Have we even reflected with our players? Have we spoken to others about it? So the context today is how can we improve, basically having that conversation with ourselves. And in some cases, can we have conversations with others based on whatever session we may have had or willing to have? Now, before we delve more into the topic, we must look at what is knowing and what is understanding. There's a great difference between the two of them. So when we talk about knowing and understanding, they are not synonyms. They are slightly different. So for example, if you know, you can regurgitate, you can restate, you can retell, you can program. If you understand, you can apply, you can use, you can transfer, and you can create. So obviously, the point of knowing is more on the essence of learning facts, just learning the facts. When we understand the facts, then we can apply the facts in different ways, shapes, and forms. We can transfer, we can create. A lot of the times our players may, for example, decide that they're going to play right back, but we consistently put them in a specific position and they keep going there and they keep doing it over and over. Is it because they understand why they are going in that particular position? Do they understand the perspective of why they are going there? Or it is because you said it, and they just keep doing it or keep doing it. So the context of this similarly is when we coach, is it because we saw a session online, or is it because we saw a coach with, or is it because something that came to us? Do we just regurgitate it? We just do it because we can do it? Do we know the context in which a particular drill is used? What are the objectives of each drill? Are we just plugging into YouTube and just restating things? Or are we applying the knowledge that we have and transferring to improve the players that we have? So this is basically the context. And this is one of the key things here in the image. Just a minute. Yesterday you said X equals 2. But is it really about X, or is it about teaching the principles and not the formulas? So as coaches, we have to start teaching the principles and not the formulas. So for example, we may teach a particular formation. The formation would be the formula, but what are the principles by which you are using this formation, and why are you doing it? Is the key thing to understanding the context in which you are doing it. Training, we show up to training. That is the formula. But what are the principles we apply in our training so that these players could improve and so that we could improve as coaches? So again, there's a vast difference between knowing and understanding. So for me, your interest should be more, instead of knowing, but more understanding. So while we get the facts, how do we apply them? How do we use them? How do we transfer them? How do we create using the facts that we have? Pause here for any questions or any comments on this particular point. Okay. We can move forward here.
Good night. Good night. That's wonderful.
Good night.
I love that. Thank you.
Any other thing? All right, so we can move forward again. All right, so when we are looking at reflection, there's two types that we can look at, is the in and the on reflection. So work on reflection practices has led to the idea that there are two different types. So in reflection and the on action reflection. So now we'll try to look at what both of them are trying to say, basically. So in reflection, like it says, it's a form of reflection that takes place during the moment. So again, it's when we think about what is happening at the moment, i.e., during a session where the coach have a 2v2 practice, but the pitch may be too long for the outcome that they want. Hence, they are going to adjust the size. Or maybe it is the number of players that we have may not be helping us to achieve our objective. So that would be an in-action reflection. So it's just addressing a problem while it is happening, or an issue. Now, on-action reflection describes as any kind of reflection that occurs after practice has finished, whether this is formal or in an informal context. So once the session has finished, this is, thinking back. What did I do well? What could I improve? How could I do better? Again, so as coaches, we need to start thinking in action and as well as the on action. So we should be reflecting during the section to make sure that we are attaining our objectives. And to do this, we have to make sure that our organization of the session is good. Is the spacing correct? Are the numbers correct? Is the bibs and colors correct? Are the right players being used? So we adjust as we progress. When the session is finished, we also need to have this reflective process, which is called the on-action reflection. And you go through the same process again. Were my instructions clear? Were the numbers correct? Why did I adjust the size? And so forth. Now, levels of reflection. So while we reflect, do we remain the same or do we change? That's a context there now. But do we, even if we reflect, shouldn't we change in some contexts? So shouldn't certain things become more efficient after time? Or do we remain the same? Now, when we look at reflection, there are several types. The first type we can look at is the technical reflection. So, the first stage of reflection that looks at achieving the objectives and if knowledge was used effectively. This is the most common form of reflection where the coach will assess the session was successful against preset objectives. So the technical reflection is us, as I said before, looking at whether the objectives were met technically and tactically. So that's the first reflection we usually look at in most cases. The second time, or the second type of reflection that needs to take place is a deeper stage of reflection where the coach will examine the objectives of the session and look at what the athlete brought to the environment. So did the athletes improve? Did the objective help them to get to the objectives that you wanted? At this point, the coach will be individualizing the objective for each athlete and what value they added to each participant, as well as a thorough examination of how and why the objectives of the session were met. So first, to the technical side, we look at the general scheme. Was the equipment in place, the size of the field, the numbers, the execution. But the practical side now is, did each of my players take away something from the objectives that we were trying to accomplish? Was I able to get them to improve? So this is us looking at the individual player now in our reflective phase. And the next one is a critical reflection. So this is the deepest stage of reflection where the coach will reflect on the meaning of the knowledge and their understanding and how this is used in the session and how or why it ultimately affects the practice. So here is where we looked at before, knowing and understanding. So obviously our session would be one to help them to know what the facts are. So an example would be, we'll be teaching pressure cover balance. We're teaching pressure cover balance. So they should understand, they should know what pressure cover and balance is. They will know that. But the critical reflection is, do they understand? Are they able to apply it during the game situation? So if you pull them aside and you ask them what are the principles of defending, they will tell you pressure cover balance. But when they go into the game, are they able to apply it? So this will now reflect now. This is where your reflection is now the critical side. It will mean they did not understand, meaning they are unable to apply the knowledge. So this is the context now of the training. So in your reflection on the critical side, you can recognize that yes, they have the facts. So yes, they know, but they do not understand, which is their ability to apply it. So how can we place them now is the question. How can we improve that process to get them to know what they're supposed to? All right, I'll pause here for any questions and reflections on these particular points. Have any of us ever seen this or looked at it in any other situation?
Theon,
Yes, please.
what I wonder, and as had two conversations with two other coaches in the past couple of days, one specifically a parent, what I wonder is what would you say if somebody knows, somebody understands, but does not appreciate the knowledge, and therefore does not, for different reasons, apply or implement that knowledge?
It's like, let me.
That was the point of our conversation.
Let me see if I understand it correctly. So a doctor is telling you not to smoke, but he smokes.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the context? So they know better,
Okay.
but they're
Yeah.
not doing any better.
Right. Correct.
Then
And that is what,
Mhm.
but it's not even just that. It's not even just that, because that is themselves. But
Mhm.
when you involve somebody who's in a leadership position and their responsibility is to lead.
Mhm.
So it's not just do as I say. This one is actually,
What do I do?
I'm confusing myself a little too much there. It is to step back away from whatever ego or challenge is in your way personally to
Yeah.
implement what you know needs to be done to get better, to make progress. I think
Well,
that's what a lot of people have. Well, it's both knowing, not understanding, and then also getting out of their own way. What do you think?
yeah, I agree. And then even before knowing, there's also thinking that you know. So that is even
Uh-huh.
another. That's
Right? We
even
don't know what we know.
yes, we think that we know the topic, but we really don't know. And if we don't know, then we can't understand, and then we keep sticking in our particular ways and our habits. But yes, I think it's a common thing, and it's something I've been looking at for a while. So one of the things I even looked at in our school is why are there are so many garbage bins around the school, yet the kids decide to throw stuff on the floor. So that's a reflection I would have.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So
I think that's right.
So
Yeah,
from a technical side, the school did well by placing the bins. The practical side was no, are they placed in the right place? And then the critical side now is, do the children know the use of the bins, or are they accustomed to practice the use of the bins? So I think the practical and the critical
right.
side.
And do they
yeah, go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say, and do they know to use them there, and for what reason? You know, like what is the value to them?
Yes. So it's the same context within training as well. And what you find usually happening is we only stick to the technical side, which is, did we achieve our objectives? But did we go into the knowing and the understanding side of training, and recognizing whether the players understand or not? Or do we just say, do you understand? And then the player says yes. And then when they go into the game, the coaches then get frustrated because the players are not executing what they said that they thought.
Right. There are a bunch of different variables, because some people will say it because they're embarrassed that they don't know it.
Yeah.
You know, or depending on the relationship in the environment with the coach and the athletes, maybe it's not that they're embarrassed, they don't want to get the coach angry before, or maybe they ask a lot of questions and they don't want the kids to get on them. So it's a lot of ifs, what ifs. We have to figure that out.
Yeah. And yeah, go ahead. Let's pick the group up. I just shoot internet in all over. So in the reflection, or the levels of reflection, is we have to now take into context. By using our 3 stages of reflection, the coach will no longer have scratched the surface of reflection, but delve deep into how and why of their practice, cementing the players' understanding and their understanding as well. So don't ever think that training is solely on you teaching the players, but it is also a process of you understanding your process of teaching. how to make it more effective. So once you start reflecting and asking those type of questions, you yourself gain understanding of why you take the specific steps that you have taken. Often coaches will simply assess the session if it was a success or a failure, if the objective for the session was met or not. We as coaches must reflect deeper to then, on the technical level, to really begin to improve our practice. So note I didn't say improve the players, but improve the practice. So if the practice is creating the right environment for the players, then obviously they would move from knowing to understanding, and you shouldn't be on the sideline shouting out instruction because they understand what needs to be done. What are the elements we as coaches should reflect on? So obviously it starts all the time with the athlete. So the athlete performs, the coach observes, the coach makes an analysis or analyzes. They relate it to the past. So did the player improve? Did the player get better? Did they regress? So that's the process of the coaching. As a result of what we came up with in terms of that reflection, then we plan our practices to improve this particular player. And we would look in the context of do we improve them physically, mentally, socially, tactically, and technically. And then we conduct the practice. And then obviously the loop continues again. After the practice, we ask the question, how did the athlete perform? We observe the athlete, their performance, and so forth. So when we start looking at reflection, these are the elements that we have to start to reflect on. The athlete's performance, how well did I observe, and what did I observe? All right. What are my criteria for analysis? How I analyze? How do I compare data? And how do I, in terms of comparing data, how do I know if the athlete really improved, not solely on a qualitative aspect, but also quantitatively? And then reflect on the coach's plan in terms of the actual exercise and objectives that we have. Did it really work? And this is the loop that keeps going on and on and on. All right. So, yes, someone was trying to get in? No? Yes, not. All right. So now we're going to look at the models. What are some of the models that we can use to do reflection? So there's one here which is called the reflective model. Driscoll's reflective model. The first process is what, then is so what, and then what now. So the what describes what has happened. What are the facts of the situation? The so what is why is this an important issue to reflect on? What does this suggest? And the what now is what would you do differently? How will this affect your future practice? So in us reflecting, we can use this model. And there are two others that I'm going to ask you to suggest. So what describes what happened in the session? What are the key factors or situations that you thought were important? Why is it important, or why is it an issue for you, basically? So we might say, what is the team isn't scoring, or a particular player isn't scoring? Why aren't they scoring? So what? Why? Why is this important? If they don't score, obviously we can't win. What does this suggest? Is it suggesting that it is a technical aspect, a mental aspect, a tactical breakdown, a technical breakdown, a physical breakdown, a mental breakdown? What type of breakdown? What does it suggest? Okay, now that we have figured it is a technical thing or a tactical, what will we do differently? So in practice, the focus now is how do we improve the tactic and the technique of finishing? How will this affect the future practice? So that's the context of this particular model in terms of reflective practice or the reflective model. A pause here for any comments or anybody who wants to jump in. All right, let's go again. while there's nothing wrong with using this model as a starting point, if we look back at the previous section, which is what we spoke about, the technical, the practical, and the critical side of the different phase, we can see that this model only allows us to reflect on the technical level. So this is all that it really does. It looks at solely just the technical level of the session. All right. Now, the second model I'm going to introduce is the CLEB, reflective learning cycle. So the first part we start with is do it. From the do it, it's what. So what happened? What were the results? Then it's so what? What do these results imply? How did I influence the outcome? Now what? What will I do different the next time? So there's a game. We show up to the game. So we do the game. What happened in the game? What was the result of the game? Is the result solely the score? Okay, we're reflecting on the score. What does the score represent? What was the issue that we see? How did how we train influence this particular outcome? And now what? What are we going to do for the next time how we're going to train? So CLEB believe that there were 4 stages to effective learning, and these are as follows. The concrete experience, where a new experience or situation is encountered, or an existing experience is reinterpreted. Then there's the reflective observation of the new experience. The understanding of the importance of any inconsistencies between the experience and prior understanding. Then there's the abstract conceptualizing. The reflection then gives away to a new idea or a new understanding of a previous abstract idea. And then we could look at the active experimentation. Then the learner applies them to the world around them to see what results can occur. So I'll give you an example. So the concrete experience. We experience football here, for example, in St. Vincent. We were accustomed to the 4-4 on a specific style of we play. So everyone continued doing. Then we got a chance to see Mexico play. Then we got a chance to see different clubs around the world. Now we're like, okay, we don't play like this. So now we're going to reflect. Why are they able to do this? How are they able to do this? Why are they able to move the ball as quickly as they do? Now it becomes an abstract and conceptualization. Why are the wingbacks overlapping? How do they do it? What are they trying to do? Now when we go back to coach, it is now we're going to experiment in this particular situation. So first we had to do it, which is we had to see it done. And then we ask the question, what really happened? What are we really saying? Why is Pep really doing this? Then we say, so what? So because he did it, how did it affect the way the team play, and how did it cause the other team to respond to it? And then now what? Which is, are we going to apply this in our training, and how are we going to go forward? Similarly, in this session, we have to pause it, we recognize, then we say, okay, what happened? What was the result of the training? So what? Did the players get it or not? How did we influence them? What was the outcome? Do they know or do they understand the information? And then we now look at what next. Do we build on the information that was given, or do we still try to solidify or make it a concrete experience for the players? I'll pause here again. If anyone wishes to give any reflection. So we can move forward. It is important to know that CLEB sees all 4 stages as an integrative process where each stage mutually supports the other. So he doesn't believe that one would exist without the other, but more so they each correspond with each other and help out each other. So without the concrete experience, you can't have an abstract conceptualization. And if there's no abstract conceptualizing, then obviously you can't have an experiment or active experiment. So each of them work hand in hand with each other. The next one we're going to look at now is Gibbs' reflective cycle. So first, we look at the description, what happened, then the feelings, what were you thinking and feeling at the moment, the evaluation, what was good, what was bad about the experience, the analysis, what else can you make of this particular situation, conclusion, what else could you have done, and then the action plan. It if it rose again, what you would do. So this is the next way of doing your reflection. So what happened? What did I feel? What was I thinking? Was it good? Was it bad? What was good or bad about the particular experience? What else can you make of this particular situation? And then conclusion will be, what else could you have done differently? What else could I change? And then we plan for the future. So this is basically it. So this model is fourfold. It allows the coach to challenge his assumptions, explore new and different ideas, promote self-improvement, and ultimately links theory to practice, which is vital for sports coaching. All right, so this is the context of this last reflective model. So we had 3 of them, each of which you can use. I'll pause here again for any questions or anything that comes to mind that you would like to have about it. All right.
Theon,
Yes.
what would you suggest if people still have difficulty in doing this reflection?
Go ahead. I didn't hear you.
What would you suggest if people have difficulty in reflection?
All right. Let me go through the presentation a little bit more, and then if I don't answer it with what I have coming, then we could look at it.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else? So, right. So the informal. So when, and this could tie basically into what Vicky was saying. So is the issue that the person doesn't know how to reflect? Is it that the person knows how to reflect, but they don't have the time? So in the amateur particular situation, they may not have the time to reflect or sit down and do a reflection formally, but informally, they maybe can or they may not have the time to get it done. But if you're gonna reflect informally, what can we ask ourselves? What are the questions we can ask ourselves? What went well during the experience? That's a question. What went badly during the experience? How did the experience end, and was it a complete or a resolution or incomplete experience? What should or could I have done differently? What stopped me from doing this, or what did stop me from doing anything in particular? What did I learn about myself from this experience? What did I learn about my current knowledge and understanding about this particular situation? Did the experience meet my learning goals? So not just the players' learning goals, but also mine as the coach. Did I learn anything from the session? All right. So from this now, we could then look into the context of, we could create an action plan after reflection. So after we have done all these questions, how do we get this done? What do we really do to make this a part of our routine? What do I need to do to better prepare for the experience in the future? Whether it's a training session, whether it's traveling with a team, whether it's a game. Then, even if the experience is positive and I did well, which areas can I improve? And again, this has nothing to do with the players. This is all about you looking at your experience. Did I shout too much? Did I talk too much? Did I give the right information? Was I precise? Was I talking too much? What did my body language reflect? Did I give them confidence? These are questions you could also ask yourself. What are the priority areas I need to develop? And this is me personally, not the players. What are the areas? Is it that I'm shy? Is it that I'm not aggressive enough? Is it that I'm too aggressive? Is it that my knowledge of the game or knowledge of a particular situation needs to improve? Do I need to read a bit more or start experience from someone else? What are the specific steps I need to take in order to achieve these improvements? So, in our process of reflection, these are some of the questions that we could start asking ourselves to get us to improve our practice of coaching. And again, this is not based on what the players are doing, but more so what are we doing or reflecting based on ourselves why we're unable to get the results that we're getting. Or if we're getting the results, why are we getting the results? So it shows that we understand the process. These do not need to be long or detailed when you're answering these questions. Just hit the precise point so that you know specifically what you're talking about. Upon answering them, you will have created your own action plan to further your development. Pause here again. Vicky, tell me. Helped out with the answer?
That was perfect. Yeah, that was wonderful. That was perfect timing. Hey, thanks, Theon.
All right, no problem. All right, so we'll continue. So issues, again, this will help again with Vicky's question. Issues with reflection that need consideration. So yes, we may be reflecting, but what are some of the issues that may come up? So am I telling myself lies? And am I not looking at the unpleasant truths that are in front of me? Am I just sugarcoating it because I think I'm so great? Am I really reflecting thoroughly to really improve myself and not see reflection as a negative thing, but more so to improve myself? Reflection can be a very personal experience, and sometimes coaches will realize they're coaching as a method of reflection when reflecting. All right, I'm gonna pause there again. The session did not go well due to the players' poor behavior. End of reflection that may happen. This is a very good time to reflect deeply. Why were the players' attitude poor? So if we look at the first one, which is the session didn't go well due to poor behavior, that's us looking at the surface. This is us knowing that players they have a bad attitude. But understanding now is us asking why was the attitude poor? Was it a result of my session? Was it a result of my behavior? And was it a result of the fact that something happened earlier with them? All right? Did you not plan correctly? It's another question in terms of the reflection. Did the exercises not meet their needs? So in your mind, you had this great session plan, but maybe the session was above their head, or maybe theirs was below their level. But in reflection, you're gonna stick just on the surface and you're gonna say, oh, the attitude was poor. We need to go deeper. So what's the technical, what's the practical side, and what's the critical side of this particular reflection that we're looking at? Was it an unopposed line drill that bored them? Again, they probably were bored. The session was boring. Rather than just rationalize the poor session as players' fault and moving on, reflect. Rather than just looking at that, you have to go deep into the why. Reflection is often an insular process. We as coaches look upon our practice through rose tinted glasses. We are perfect. We have no errors. We are great at what we do. So it could never be because the session was boring. It could never be because be because his spacing was right. It could never be because the numbers were up. It was never because the session was above or below the player's head. We can try to reflect the pairs so we could have persons there reflecting with us. And this is not a type of reflection where it is somebody being critical. It is more, can this person guide you to get to the whys? And it's not more, oh, you could have done this better or you could have do this. No, it's asking the person the questions to recognize what their view is. Yes, so I see your hand up. You could go ahead.
I think a year ago I was at Chelsea, and we were with the U11 team, and the coach was trying to do something. And it's like I'm sitting on the sideline and I'm saying, boy, this is not working out. So, like after the session, I asked him. I said, you were trying to do something, but yeah, I can see it wasn't working out. And he said to us, he said, I have the numbers, I have the spacing, everything was set up right, but just my presentation, just my explanation was, it was not what I wanted.
Yeah.
That was his self.
Huh?
That was his self-reflection.
Yeah.
And how long after, did he really realize?
No. He went to the for that session. I think it was half an hour. But we being there, we from America, so I'm not sure if he was trying to impress us. If you think we were idiots. So I thought it right away. It's not working.
But before you think that, he would know. He would reflect earlier than you that this thing is not working out.
And you are correct. He said that 5 minutes in, he saw that the kids did not understand. But he was trying to jive it in them. It's like motivate them. I mean, instruct them in certain ways, but they still didn't get it. And he was a young coach also, a young Chelsea coach. He used to be an assistant coach, and then they moved him to the head coach.
So why did it happen? Because of a lack of knowledge or experience?
Just one of those days, man.
Yeah. It's like I usually reflect on my practice when I'm judging.
Guys, this happened. This could have more or less every practice.
Yeah.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Ian, before this topic tonight, right? Some of us somehow practice this, don't we? Not really in the training, but in the game, after the game, halftime. Don't we do that?
Yeah, as I said, I believe that we all do. What I think may not happen is recognizing the three different levels
Right.
that I highlighted. So we may just focus on the surface, which is the technical side. We may not look at the practical side, which is
Right.
knowing, do they know? And then we may not look at the consolidation side, which is, do they really understand? Yeah. So in the example that Mr. Alexander presented, so for example, the coach recognized that the session wasn't going well. So that's the technical side.
Mm.
But the practical side now was the why. Why wasn't it happening well? And then it's the critical side now, which is did the players understand specifically what needs to get done?
And Tian, he basically break down everything, why it wasn't going well and why the players did not understand.
Okay. Could I ask a question, Kamala?
Yeah.
You're looking at this session, right?
Yeah.
And what did you think? Why it was breaking down before you speak with?
I was looking at the level. Okay, he was basically trying to do a 14-year-old practice at an 11-year-old session.
What was it? What was the topic really, if you remember?
Okay. It's like pinging a ball 30 yards, right?
Mm.
Pinging the ball 30 yards, and the kids have to control it from 30 yards, control it and keep it up 6 times, and then you have to kick a volley in the puck goal.
And you expect? Wow.
So
That's pretty ambitious.
I don't know if he was trying to impress us. Because we were there, and it was a part of our course. So I know, like 5 minutes in, it's like, nah, these kids can't control a ball from 30 yards in the air and keep it up.
So if we look at this formula, right? Now what? Right. Now what? The next.
What it should do is a 30-yard pass, dribble through some cones and strike it in the puck goals.
So let me ask you now. When he reflect, and if he using now what, right? The next time that he has his practice, what do you think he will do? I don't think you'll do it. There's no way.
As I said, a 30-yard pass on the floor, you can totally dribble to some cones and you shoot in the poor goal. Instead of ball in the air, try to keep it up. It's 6 consecutive juggle, and you have to value it in the poor goal.
But you as an experienced coach, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, when these guys were in the UA situation, I sure that they were juggling the ball. This is not the first time they're juggling the ball. This is not the first time, you know.
But it's like this. You pinging a ball. You pinging a ball in the air. It's like your first touch to keep it up is very important. If you don't have that, and the ball jump, what happened? So the issue was the first touch. Because you don't know how hard the ball is coming. And the practice was you are not pinging the ball like off the floor. You pick the ball up and you volley it.
I mean, I like what you're saying, but if you had okay, I don't know if you have the picture. If Theon will go back to the Gibbs reflection cycle, Theon, and you have all the right answers there, right, camera? If you could explain it, is it that what happened? If you could explain in that context, see that we're here now.
Oh, okay.
So what happened? The description.
Okay. Description.
Right.
The practice was basically above those players.
Right.
Okay. Feelings, what I'm thinking. These players are not on that level, especially in height, because of the ball going in the air and the ball go over their head.
Right.
What happened? Okay. Evaluation. What was the good and bad about the experience? I saw that the coach actually struggled. He basically put at a wheel before at a vehicle.
Okay, not only the coach, how about the kids? The kids
No.
struggle?
Yeah, but the kids struggle because of what he presented to them.
Alexander,
Yeah.
do you happen to know if this was his first time or he was a novice in instructing before a coursework, before a crowd evaluating him?
He used to be with the U14 boys, and then they brought him down to the U11 boys.
But in front of other people, because you mentioned that this was part of your coursework, so you guys were observing him. Because I'm wondering if he just felt pressured, and it's harder to think when you're on the spot, when the lights on you, when you're on stage.
Listen to me, Vicky.
Yeah.
Once you come out, you set up your session.
Mm-hmm.
You have your paper.
Mm-hmm.
Every number's right.
Uh-huh.
Spacing right.
Uh-huh.
I don't think I don't think what you are asking is actually accurate.
Well, just okay.
You don't think that was possible?
No.
Like the opportunity, if the opportunity arose where in the middle of the session he thought, this is not working. Sometimes if our emotions are there, we get nervous and we don't think straight, or we don't have a plan B, and that's why preparation is important.
Yeah, about the confidence he had. Okay. My issue was that jail was way beyond those kids.
Which we understand.
Right.
Okay. In this sense, right? This is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And you could jump in there whenever you want to, right? If you remember the first part of the reflection, the technical part, that wasn't achieved, right?
No.
So you could say that here's something else. When he started it, the first part, the technical part, was not successful at all.
The technical was good, meaning because based on what Alexander said, he said the numbers were right, the spacing was right, the setup was right.
Okay.
What the issue was, like Alexander was explaining, was the age group and the skill level. So that would be now the second level, which is the practical level. Level, which is it's above them. So if it's above them, yes, they know what to do,
right?
But they may not understand how to execute it, which is the critical side. They know they need to keep it up 6 times, but understanding how to do it and get it done is the process. So in the coach's process now, it's like you were trying to break it down here. So in his analysis, what else can I do to make the session? So then, so now it depends. So if we are in action or on action, so in action during the session, he could have seen that it wasn't working. Right. Maybe he could have adjusted, just like what Alexander said.
Yeah.
Like what Alexander said. Or if he completed the session and in his mind it went well, and then you go home and then you're like, maybe this should have been better. That would have been the on action now. So you're finished now and you're like, wait, maybe this could have been better, and then that's part of the analysis as well. And
but you know what? He completed the session, and I can guarantee that those kids did not get nothing out of it.
So here we go again. So here's some. Wasn't that a teaching moment within the course, a learning moment within the course? So in reflection of the course, it is also a teaching moment.
But I'm sure that he will, in a future practice, whether it's the next day or the next week, he will repeat this again and try to get it
And you know what? He just kept apologizing to us.
Yeah, but he didn't need to.
And I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. I see what you were trying to do. It's okay. Because that session could have done so much better if the ball was on the floor and you think a 30-yard pass, a kid check to the ball, dribble to, and 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 you have like one goal to the left, one goal in the center, one goal. So you have 3 goals, and as soon as he's able to, he can choose whatever goal.
So,
But the amazing thing was, at the end, he made it a competition. He put them like he put them like green on this side, yellow on the side, and how many goals you score. And Shevchenko's son, who is in that group, Andrei Shevchenko.
And how did it turn out?
Huh?
How did it turn out? What changed?
I'm going to be honest. It was fine at the end.
you had a good conclusion.
It was fine at the end. Because you can actually see at the pace of the ball was a bit less. The kids was not hasty like in the beginning. And you can see the kids them was actually trying.
So, as part of the evaluation, you could go back now and say, there's a good part from it. That was
Yeah.
I have to say that oftentimes, if there are times where, I'm definitely not perfect. There are times where it's hard for me to get the kids' attention. It's just like that day, like you said, Theon, we have those days. But the moment that I put a competitive spin in it, it makes it fun for them. And their focus increases just because of that. And they zone in and they accomplish much more sometimes. So it's important to remember how to create something fun and competitive that makes it effective. I'm glad that you mentioned that.
Vicky, you couldn't wait to get in this fun thing, huh?
Of course. I'm smiling as I say it because I want to be there doing it.
So, okay, let's do it just today. My practice this evening, right, is with my little U5 team. And the topic was, supporting on the left side and the right side and straight down the middle. So you have to be in 3 different areas. It's either you're to the left, to the right, or down the middle. And at first they couldn't get it, And I was reflecting on myself there, and I say, they ain't getting it, Then I have to jump in there with them. It was a 4 against 4. So make it a 5 against 4. And when I have the ball, I point out where you should be. Who's there to the left, who's there to the right, and stuff like that. And I can see these U5 kids trying to get to the right side and trying to get to the left side. So that is an achievement there on my side. And I was so proud of that. So could you imagine they're 5 years old? And you know I don't like games. 5 years old. And
Rondo, Sammy, Rondo.
I know Mohan is going to jump in. I know Samuel is going to jump in.
Rondo, Sammy, Rondo. Good night, everyone. I've been telling you about Rondo, Sammy. Sammy 4v2, 5v2, Rondo. Pig in the middle, monkey in the middle, whatever.
No, my friend. It start first. Listen to me. And just remember this. The first pass, whether it's 7 yards or 10 yards, it starts with that pass first when you do that. Not the rondo, forget about the rondo. The first pass is a 10-yard pass. Because, and this is coaching education. So I start off, how big is the field? 70 yards, 80 yards. Okay, so how about 100? How many players on the field? 10 players plus the keeper. So divide 120 by 10. 10 yards. So everyone has to play 10 yards apart. And that's how we started. So the most important pass with a rondo is the first pass. Whether it's 8 yards or 7 yards or 10 yards.
Glad you recognize, Sammy.
Come on.
I'm glad to have you on board,
This is the Zoom.
I'm glad to have you on board, Sammy.
This is the Zoom. Go ahead, Theon. It's all yours.
Theon, my
Hey,
work
buddy.
is done. Theon, my work is done.
Yeah. So and you feel on reflection, you start accepting some of what we're saying.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, when I saw this topic tonight, right? I saw this topic tonight, Theon. And for someone who's stubborn as I do, right? And I'm driving in the car, and I'm listening and stuff like that, right? And I'm thinking, I'm thinking. All right. And it's something that I really it's a tremendous topic, honestly. And for the coaching purpose, right? Like the young coaches, would you encourage it at this time?
Yeah, man.
Instead of
At any time. Similarly, this process could be done by the players themselves in terms of how they did in the session.
right.
So was it because of my technique? Was it because of the tactics? Was it because of my spacing? Was it because of my movement? Okay, what would I do next time?
Right. And when you're coaching and you ask them these questions, these are these kind of things that you get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So remember, first, in order to get an answer, they have to understand. They can't know it. If they
Right.
know it, and they
They'll
can't
do it.
execute. No. If they know it, they can tell you about it. They're gonna respond. But if they understand it, then they're gonna show you it in practice and in the games.
This is reflection part of the warm down.
If it's faster, you can't warm down your school down. For me, no.
So when they doing a discussion about what happened even during games or a practice session,
It's more
is the
for me.
reflection part of that?
Yes and no, but for me, it's more checking for understanding. So that would, yes, be a part of the reflection, but it's not anything in depth. What did you learn today? Anything stand out to you? Anything you're not clear about? Those are the questions. What was the topic for today? That kind of stuff. But nothing long, no long story, no discussion. Just key points, just to get back the objective that we're looking at, just to get that out.
But then again, the old time theory of repetition and stuff like that in practices, will occur.
Yeah.
And this is when you get it, really.
Yep. So reflection, yes, sir.
We move on. I want to share. So I had some sessions a couple of weeks ago. I did some sessions with some girls, like some high school age girls. So Sammy and Vicky will know ECNL, those the top level girls.
Stormler too.
Right.
Stormler's coach there.
Too. Right. So there's some girls that I coach at a club that they moved. We didn't have seen in other clubs, so they moved on to other clubs and some of their friends and what's not. I had sessions early morning, like 7:30 in the morning to 9 o'clock with these girls. And what I did, I brought 3 different colleagues to observe the session that I was teaching. So before I gave them the topic and tell them what I was gonna do, and I coached it, we recorded some of it. We had a videographer come, this young lady who played at Temple. She retired because she just got some headaches from concussions and stuff. So she just retired and she get into videography. So she came and taped some of the stuff. But I had these coaches come and observe the session and give me feedback afterwards, because I do it pre-season too. One thing I always do, I believe that if you want to get better at something, to get a coach. So even when I'm doing pre-season with my varsity and I have a young assistant, I will give him a topic and tell him I'm coaching this session over 90 minutes. And after, I want you to critique me and give me an opinion on how I delivered my coaching points and what's that. And if you think it was coherent, if there was a flow to it, if it made sense, the progression was good. So that's just something I do when I'm doing sessions. And coaches, like a couple of weeks ago, I had one older coach who was probably 20 years older than me. I had one guy probably like 5 years younger than me. I had another guy in his 20s. So different generations, different coaches. Just observe what I was doing and let me know if it was relevant, if it was good. And I like that kind of feedback. Just to grow, to go as a coach.
They call that peer-to-peer reflection. So one of the key things about the peer-to-peer is that the coaches don't tell you what to do in your next session. It's more, can they guide you towards improving what you actually did?
Yeah. Come on.
It's not context of saying, oh, you should do this next time or you should do that. No, it's more, what you think. Did you hit the topics? Are you sure that this brought out the specific thing that you were looking for?
The objectives and stuff.
Yeah. So it's similar in the context of, for me, at least for me, when you're coaching. A lot of the times we pass the game and we step in and we tell the players, okay, this is what should have been done. But for me, the first context is figuring out what the players saw. So maybe they didn't see the actual pass that you're talking about, or maybe they didn't see the scenario that you're talking about. But then you're trying to correct them on something they didn't see.
Yeah. And Theon, it was interesting.
Yeah.
But with these girls, like, so they all playing different teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's like 2 of them from one team, and then the others all from different teams, and they play at a higher level. But like after the practice, we discuss the session and the relevance and what you pick up from it. Because I want to know if what I'm teaching from them, I want to know what's going on. And they all had things that resonated with them. Whether it's from the rondo, from doing the angle of support or something resonated with them in the session. And they all shared something. So we do that reflection, because I'm doing this thing really to start. I'm going to do some sessions just aimed at targeting that deficit. Is what one of the girls and them we call the name for it. There's a deficit in the understanding of the game, right? And a lot of players have enough technique but don't understand how to apply the when, where. But they have enough skill, like, to control a ball and pass a ball.
So
but they don't have the understanding.
Knowing versus understanding.
So remember, more at this stage, we don't do a lot of, or we don't do enough classroom work.
Yeah.
Primarily because, the time and stuff like that,
And we got
But
Zoom.
We definitely don't do enough.
So I assume, right, if it's a college situation, if these guys are in college, they will have more time. You'll have more time with them in meetings and stuff like that now.
But Sammy, I see players heading to college, like playing center forward, right?
Right.
And the ball coming from one side, and they can't recognize that the ball had to go out in a V. Like it come from the 8 and he had to go to the 10.
Right.
You understand? So the ball going back where it come from. You understand? Like tactical things that should not be like by that age, right? If you heading off the college, right? Come on, Sammy, you gotta know who to bounce the ball to.
So what's wrong?
That naivety. Huh?
What's wrong with that? If that's the only available pass.
No. When it's not.
Okay.
When the ball comes, Sammy, you know the game has a progression, right? So you know when that ball that go into the 9, right? That come from one side, Sammy, and Sammy, the ball has to go in the V. You know that ball I'm talking about, right? And you need your 9 to understand that the ball has to be bounced back there in a V. You need your 9 to understand that. It can't go back where it came from. And the time if it's a give and go, going back, whatever. But I'm saying when the game requires that ball to go in that V, we all know what I'm talking about. We all coach it.
Yeah. But you gotta look at these players, how they are being developed.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Meaning,
So that's why Scramble, I'm going to do a class aimed at that, because a lot of players are not getting that the brain, the tactical part of the game. They're getting a lot of repetition technique, but they're not getting, and they're saying they're getting skill acquisition and what's not, but they're not getting an understanding of the game.
I think it's pretty common, and I've learned that actually more over the past couple of years, that it's much more common in the US to get more technical rather than tactical. And I think that's where we're lagging a lot compared to like Europe.
Yeah. Guys,
in the beginning of my season, you know me, I'm a ball possession coach. You can make as much passes as you want. So we move from one progression to another progression to another progression to 11v11. And when we reach to 11v11, it's like I'm sitting on the sideline and I'm saying, oh, hold on. Is something wrong here? Is something wrong with what we just did? They went back to the old thing, ball over the top, and everybody rushing to score. So I basically start the game. I bring everybody in, and I repeated myself. If we're gonna play the game properly.
All right. Could I stop you right there? Could I ask a question?
Yeah.
I'm putting you in Mohan's situation, right?
Yeah.
Mohan have all these high school girls who play for different coaches, right?
Yeah.
What would you do in that sense, though? I mean, are you trying to change their style of? Are you trying to, bring your philosophy to them in this 1 week?
No.
Okay.
No. Because at the end of the day, they're not gonna play for me.
Right. So what would you do? What would you do different?
Yes, my practice is gonna be intense. My training is gonna be intense. But at the end, it is what you leave with.
Okay. Because we had our high school girls this morning, 3-hour practice. And we only break to get some water, and I've never seen anything like this. The intensity of these guys, they're just like 15 years old, 16 years old. We're talking about the fitness part of it, and the American kids they like to go forward. They can shoot. They like to run off the ball. They like to their creativity. You understand? And I recognize all that, And they could care hell about defensive, defensive. They just want to go. And I respect that, what I'm saying? And I just leave them alone. That's what they like. It's not my team. And it's amazing to see how they think and, how much goals they want to score and, taking out players and stuff like that. And it's amazing. And this is why they're so good at it,
But Sammy, that's good because once you observe, so most of coaching is not instructing, it's actually observing them.
Right.
So once you observe that they have this and these are the strengths, your job is not to interrupt.
Right.
You understand? You encourage if that's a strength and you see their strength, encourage. If it's working, like where are you gonna reinvent the wheel?
But listen, man, I couldn't help but reflecting, with my own team, and I say, boy, if I have these girls there, and they play my kind of system, trouble.
Sammy,
Yeah.
in 2015 spring, I lost a state cup with a under 16 girls team, right?
Yeah.
Like lost like was up 1-0, got equalized and late, and lost the game in overtime. So that's end of spring. That team move on to another coach. I get a new U13 team. I get this team, Sammy, and I look around the team. There was El Salvadorian girl who played out of Colombia with her father. She's a pure number 10. A pure number 10. She could shoot and she could pass the ball. So I said, okay, I have a 10. I look around, I see a 9, I see some pieces. So I said, you can make a stake up run, Make a run for the stake up because I was bitter from the loss. In spring. Tell me, we come and win the stake up with us, Sammy. Right? And these girls, after we won the stake up, I asked them, I said, when I told you guys to go win the stake up, you could make a run. You thought I was crazy, right? And they all said yes. Like, you know how girls gonna be shy and they won't hold back? Like, yeah. Because they had lost in the first round of the stake up at U12. First game, they got knocked out. Wow. So when I told them we could make a stake up run, look at me like, yeah, right. We just got 1 point first round. But it was an exciting team.
Come on.
Right? It had talent. We could counter attack. We could keep possession.
Right.
So what they had, I didn't stop them. I told my backs, play ball on the ground, play ball over the top. Whatever you see on, hit it. if it's to go long with the top, if it's going to the feet, whatever's on, hit it. Don't worry about it. So I just liberate them, let them play.
Right.
We conceded, Sammy, we never goalkeeper. We conceded 1 goal in the semi-final.
Wow.
4-19 conceded 1. But that team was a special team. So all I did was observe.
Yeah.
See, I have some guns. Let it go.
That's important, man. That's really important.
I didn't coach no technique in there because they already had technique. Yeah, they already had technique. Yeah, just put a system in place.
So can we finish with this topic? Yeah.
Now we're closing off, just
All right.
concluding. All right, so reflection is a process that we must be really open and accepting to look at our practice, what and all. So it's not just the positive, but also what we may have recognized as negative. The final thing we need to consider is the use of bias in our decision making in terms of our reflection. So we may be biased to a specific player, biased to a specific drill or situation, or something that we're comfortable with. We have to recognize.
Yeah. Use a different one than bias.
In this context, favor.
Okay.
We favor something.
All right.
Or we prefer something. All right. So we gotta recognize that maybe we need to step out of our comfort zone within the reflection process. And in conclusion, the presentation will hopefully dispel the myth that coaching is simply an act of learning through experience, which is then as simple as spending time on the pitch coaching. Bell, 1997 argues that this is simply not the case and that the key to effective experimental learning is reflection. While learning through experience is necessary, it is vital to reflect upon our experiences to turn these experiences into knowledge. Put simply, 10 years of coaching without reflecting could be 1 year of coaching repeating 10 times. It's important. It's important to remember that a lot of people know about a lot of things, but learning requires more understanding than simply knowing about something.
I think it's over to me there, boy. Serious.
The impact of all this literature and study has failed to influence coach education, with coach still being instructed to plan, do, review on the most basic level. Coach education should begin to embrace the importance of critical reflection in coaching. When reflecting and indeed coaching, think of what value does everything I do have on the practice. This translates to reflective process 2. Here ended the presentation today.
Tremendous.
Thank you very much for your attention.
Tremendous session. And it's nice to see you all guys back, guys who missed last week. We miss you guys.
You miss me, Sammy?
Yes, always.
I'm so much
The man busy making grab.
Hippo there.
Recording stopped.
Oh, we miss you guys, man. I mean, are you guys, it's 1 day a week for 3-4 hours.
Today gonna be only up until 10. I have another engagement.
What?
Okay.
You
1 o'clock in the morning.
Guys, what going on in Vinci, boy? Things happening?
The pillow cook.
Hey, Hippo?
I ain't really know about Tiana man,
Wait. What the latest?
Tiana the executive.
Don't give me no tax, come my boss head.
Escamla?
Huh?
I was practicing all day today. What the latest?
What's going on? You work?
Nah, they can't afford me now.
Which work that?
The GS. Huh?
What happened to the GS?
The work is not available.
What?
Tiana, you want me?
Wait. Well, you all explain how you also rude, man. You all guess that they understand what's going on now?
Boys, I'm getting some information that the GS quit.
Oh,
You mean quit?
Which one?
Eh?
Resign or quit? Which one?
Resign.
What's the difference?
Eh?
Quit is walking off the job, he walk off the job.
He got fed up, he resigned.
Wait. Guys, people don't just resign just like that, You get in pay and you leave the money and just resign and do what? Are you guys kidding me?
Are we getting internal pressure? Who knows?
Well, obviously, I mean, I think we're going in a different direction now. And everybody has to be accountable.
Sammy, who resigned?
The GS. Poya.
You? Yes.
Yeah, the Poya.
Okay.
And obviously, I mean, I like the direction that they're going into. I mean, with our man Theon here, you understand? And obviously, we need a GS, who is as bright as him, or even brighter, which is difficult to do. You understand? That when all of these things, when he go to his GS and say, the GS would know what he's talking about. You understand? So this is something good for Simmons in football, I think. But who's that person coming in? That's the next question. Who's that
Tell
person?
me, Freddie. Tian, just make a sign on there. I was reading Tian finger sign. Is Freddie is it here? Freddie Adam?
Well, wow. And let me tell you something, man. This brother is no joke. This brother is no joke. You understand? And what I like about him, you know, I mean, you know, the statues and all that kind of thing there. And having Tian with him is a tremendous, if it's him, it's a tremendous combination. It's a tremendous combination. And I will hope, and he should know that too, if he's the person coming in, you have somebody who's competent. You understand? And I want my guy, when he have his first meeting with him, that he have to express that. He have to worry. You understand? You have somebody who's competent on the technical side. You understand?
Remember the GS walk on the behest of the president, eh?
Who president, really?
That's what the GS walk for.
All he had to do is just sign, all he had to do is just sign the check. That's all he had to do. He had to do nothing else. Just ask him to sign and just sign the check. And that's it. That's all he has to do. Yeah, he have two guys, them two guys there. You know. What else you have to do? You don't have to come in. He doesn't have to come in the office.
Yeah, you just hype over Tian.
Come on, man.
Me know he hyping so far.
You think anybody will get ready for someone here?
Mama guy.
No, yeah, that's our word, you know. That's my scrubber word. The man Vinci is two words there. It's two words. Mama guy, what next one?
I don't know too, Mama guy. And
bogus.
Everything is just bogus.
Bogus.
Okay? It's like you tell them something. Yes, man. Yes. And when it comes down to it,
nothing.
Sammy, you see, if a new GS comes in, right?
Yeah.
Got it? He has to change the culture of the FF. That's the most important.
Right.
Right? Most important thing right now. The secretariat itself.
But that's the reason why they're choosing this guy. Remember, he was on the other side, you know. Every time there was a meeting.
But who tell you it's Freddie?
Who else could it be?
I mean, who else it could be?
If they it had to be Freddie? And he brought it that way.
Like, you know something? You know something? You know?
I come to work with Tian, development officer.
If you're honest, you feel in your heart so far. Freddie, they will take Freddie. They could deal with Freddie.
They don't know who they. Well, listen to me. Listen to me, man.
But I'm just saying that to say, you don't know who it is. You don't know who it is, so you assume.
Well, everybody, that's it all.
Know everybody. The gentleman just showed a name because the man never said this is. He ain't in the executive.
So,
wait. Who the gentleman be?
I mean who? Choco, you?
Huh?
Choco, you just say Freddie, and you take down, you run down full speed.
They didn't call me that to be Freddie.
Guys,
If they want anything to happen.
Before this Zoom here at 8 o'clock, there's so much mini Zoom during the day.
When you and Anaheim the bogus, man.
So when Hippo have your own section, right? When Hippo section get with this, everybody know.
I'm not getting the information.
No. You know what? These guys are professionals.
I'm telling you.
You don't want to be with these guys over there. You understand? They are professionals. And
hey,
is it released that the General Secretary resigned?
No,
By the Federation?
Not that I know of. These guys always have information to everybody else. They probably have a table.
No, actually, I did get a a voice note that telling me that he resigned. Right? I didn't see it come out as no circular from the FF, right? So I can, right?
And he Theon is saying, yes, yes.
So, so when people is traveling, the visa will be months before.
So you say that.
Just asking a question.
And you say that's one of the reasons?
Yeah. Could I say something, please? Theon, I didn't get a chance to congratulate you on making this new step forward. But in your journey, I'd like you to utilize the development center for the kids from 12 to 16, because that was what it was built for. Okay? Enough for big man to sleep. It's a bunk beds for youths when they're developing and things. So, good speed, my brother.
You see how that go?
Wait. Guys on the Zoom here, we're waiting on this document. How long we have to wait on this document? I mean, you know.
Which document?
That Theon does. I mean, we're holding up this thing, you know.
Everything just like you, brother.
I mean, listen now.
What do you mean you wait?
This document, right? I think that, you know, you guys were going to give it to the affiliates and they have some, you know, I mean.
Yeah, that's the process, but hold up at the moment, so I'm waiting.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
nobody running the office to get talk to
set up in the print. Just asking.
Asking for a friend.
Possibly.
I mean, school people say, you get hold up in the print.
Guys, listen to me now. And you guys have to know better than that, right?
About
Theon, because of Theon's current position. There's certain things that he cannot answer. You guys can't put him on the spot like that. And you all keep doing it.
So, hold on. You're doing it for over a year now. Any change?
Yo.
I reflect. Okay, guys, I reflect.
You reflect.
Listen to me now. Let me finish now.
We're not going to have a conversation about this in the morning, okay?
I reflect. I reflect, right? Because last week, you had to cut me off and he had to cut you off and he said, they're going back on this thing again, you know, the same thing again. So we have to reflect, Scrambler, and come to something new of not, you know, repeating ourselves negatively.
Mr. Carrington,
yeah.
I want to ask Mr. Gordon a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me just say something to you. Nothing you say is negative or positive. It is just something you're saying.
You always do that. We already have to put everything there. You know, yes,
all right.
Nothing you say. Wait. Let me just try to understand.
Nothing you say is positive or negative. It is just something you're saying.
Mr. Gordon, I want to ask you a question. Do you know you understand me going?
So take away that, take that, reflect on it, and try to see what it means. So when you shout that you get aggressive or you get loud, in your mind you're probably thinking I'm harassing him or it's a negative towards him. No, it's not. To me, it's me listening to you and trying to understand.
Okay.
All right. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Chiku.
Hey, boss. Under your new portfolio, with this
I don't know what that is.
Man, I see thing on. I had the letterhead thing here come out now.
What it is?
Director of Technical Affairs, something like that.
What does that mean?
It means you're responsible for developing everything in football.
You see that in the document?
I haven't seen that. I know that.
Mr. Carrington,
Mr.
Carrington.
What you in for?
Because when FIFA sending correspondence to the GS and to the technical director, they send it as technical director. Okay? You can't.
Mr. Carrington.
What's the word?
Mr. Carrington, hold on a while, man. I'm on the phone.
Yeah, go ahead, Hippo.
Mr. Gordon, Director of Technical Affairs, sounds similar to the portfolio of a first vice president. Right or wrong?
I don't know what it is.
No, as a sound.
I am telling you, I don't know what it is.
One calling and briefed on your upcoming
I have an idea, but my supervisor is now in the state for roughly 2 weeks.
who's the supervisor?
Mockery? Mockery now?
You're kidding on.
Mr. Grant.
So that's what I'm saying. You're walking under the vice president, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Is
So
it TD? Is it TD?
could I
So-
continue?
Wait.
Hold on a while now.
Is it TD?
I thought it was GS.
Yeah.
What?
I thought it was a GS.
GS Suda. The GS is above everybody. GS is above everybody. So it's the executive, the GS, the technical director, and then everybody else.
But it's not,
GS is above.
that's wrong because the GS decide what the
No.
executive.
No, this is all well technically
Yeah.
as in with them, basically.
Yeah, because you have direct line to the president.
Wait.
I want to answer my Sammy, hold on a while. Mr. Gordon is responding to my question. I
Yes,
wanted
sir.
to ask another question.
Mhm.
As the technical director,
Mhm.
the portfolio of grassroots football, is that a sub-element of the, or is it directly gone to somebody else?
At the moment, there aren't any changes to structure. The only change that is being developed is it will be taking my slots.
Camera, you
So
there?
there's no new blood, no qualified people available. Scrambler, hold on a while.
There's too many people in the Zoom. Why
Scrambler.
can't we name some?
Scrambler, hold on a while. Okay, Mr. Gordon, talk to me. Sir,
Yeah, I'm listening.
so there's no new blood qualified to be vested.
At the
That's
moment,
beyond your pay grade.
it's not a matter beyond my pay grade. At the
Okay, that's-
moment, I'm in the assessment phase.
Oh,
So I'm assessing what is and what's going on, what's the processes, how they function, who have the power, what's the protocol. and that kind of
okay.
stuff.
You're doing your homework.
Correct.
Wait,
Alright.
hold up.
Sammy, hold on a while.
No,
Sammy.
hold up. You hold up right there.
Mhm.
Theon now come. We are assessing what?
No, but
You've
you have
been
to
there for 2
you have to
years.
assess. That's the first. The one that came the first GS, I spent the whole month reading all the minutes so you could know what's going on. Have
Excuse
to know
me.
what's going on so you could make critical decisions. Relax.
You're in Canada. The man running the show for the past 2 years. This is nothing new. The
Mr.
only thing
Gordon,
that
one more question.
listen to me. The only thing that he wasn't getting paid for the past 2 years. He was running your own show. What's wrong with you guys? Somebody says it. Well, you all could fool. Who should go?
You would reflect on what you just said and see if it makes sense.
Can't
to you.
stop that. Can't stop that. I have
Okay.
time with that. I want more
Okay.
question for you. Could I?
Okay.
I want
Yes,
more
sir.
question.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now,
Mm.
from my as an outside insider, because I live abroad and I was affiliated with the process, right?
Yeah.
I think under the portfolio of the technical director, there should be a development officer who bridges the administrative and the development. Let's listen to what I'm trying to say, right? Who bridges the administrative and the technical processes. No, the development officer should be the link to all the development programs administration that's going on. If you kind of come up with some concept like that, you'll be able to control all the different development programs as the technical director. We think
We
about
have,
something like that.
we have a development officer.
Hold on a while, Sammy. We're doing cerebral stuff.
If you so this again is the assessment phase. If you look at how the organigram is distributed, it's so you have the, let's say, the under 11 development officer, the under 19 development officer, and then you have female officer, you have the technical director, you have scouting, you have female. All right. Now, in terms of admin, what is expected is that the information is channeled to the technical director, and then the technical director channels it to the general secretary. That's the current process. At least that's what I'm understanding right now as I go through my assessment.
So the technical director is responsible for administrative organizations too.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is the in his sense, what's his title? You have it in front of you.
Huh?
What is his title?
Who's Theon?
Yeah.
Director of technical
Technical
matters.
director. Nonsense. They just
So you have to mention that. You have to have respect. You have to mention.
So, let me ask you this, right? I am reflecting on a week ago.
Mhm.
A week ago, I basically brought up the subject of the under 17 girls practice that I saw.
Mhm.
Okay. Based upon the topic tonight,
Mhm.
Did you reflect it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Based upon the topic tonight, was that practice suitable for those girls, and why?
You are the one who's supposed to tell me that, because I didn't see what you're talking about.
You didn't see it?
No.
Okay. Could I jump in here? Was there another practice after that you saw out here?
Yeah.
Okay.
For the past week, that's all I've been doing. Attending
Okay.
training sessions.
Okay. And I mean, you basically don't have to report to us, but we will like an idea of what you saw so far.
No.
What I saw is in the 17th, you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So they are in the process of trying to select a specific group of players, and then getting them to train to the game model.
Okay. Select. The tournament was supposed to held in August, but it moved back to September. This is the problem.
Mhm.
This is the problem. We always behind the 8 ball.
Okay.
Okay, we always behind the 8 ball in the sense of we never have a core of players, and it come down from the senior team down.
How could you say that's coming? Oh, you know.
To be honest, Theon, all those directors you tell me about, do they meet monthly or
Jesus
bi-weekly?
Christ,
How do
yo.
Guys.
Hippo, you just come up on Zoom and you want to run things?
No. Because
Relax
Theon ain't
yourself,
going
man.
to you. When you ask them questions, he just evading.
No,
I am not evading any question. Anything you ask me, I'm answering. Based on the information I have, I could answer.
So it comes back to the senior team situation, and trickle down for all the teams. We always chipping and chopping. We never have a core of players.
But Scarborough, within that, listen to me, Scarborough. Within that amount of kids, the core is in there.
Tommy,
the core has to be in there.
So for me again, let's we know what we're talking about, right? We know what we're talking about. We know. But we understand what we're talking about. Why don't we have a core? Why don't we have a core of understanding there? Is there any specific reason?
I am gonna say this again, and I'm gonna be big, and I'm gonna be bold, because you guys fail in youth development.
Okay.
Big and serious.
Okay.
But that's
Okay.
not ball.
Okay.
Straight across the board.
Okay.
So every season, this is the same problem.
Is there under 17 girls competition,
No,
Mr. Gordon?
no, there isn't.
So that could be one of the reasons why you don't have a core being practicing contiguously, right?
And why we don't
Wait, guys, wait. Guys, hold up. Remember, some of these girls, was only on the 15 team. So that's the core right there. So what are you guys talking about?
There's also another reference to some in that what has happened over the past year in football.
Yeah.
What has
Yeah.
happened?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Anything,
Because of
nothing has
COVID.
happened.
Nothing really.
COVID, volcano,
Right,
nothing happened. Nothing. You can't coach, you can't play, you can't.
Right.
But based on having the core of the U15,
Right.
there are players who may have developed, there are players who may have regressed,
Right.
and then they're now starting back to train again. So that's the context.
You never lose your first touch.
I disagree with you.
Mohan.
You never lose your first touch.
I disagree with you. So here's why I disagree with you. These are the 15 girls who were in training. What was their developmental age? They were under 15, yeah. They had
Basic.
the age, but they were playing for roughly a year and a half.
Yeah, basic.
And then, since that time, they have not really played any games. So basically, they are still roughly about 2 years old in the game.
Yeah, they're in the basic stage, family.
Yeah. But was there any youth competition?
And stop harassing me, no man. What are you harassing me for? You have the answer to the question. What are you harassing me for?
Because it come back to the same thing, Tian. You guys.
So that mean you're not reflecting on what you say every night. Because if you're coming back to say it every night, that means you're not reflecting on what you're saying.
I told you.
You guys fail.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
You know, we know this. You're saying it now. How long? So
Okay,
fine. What next? What next? What next, Sammy?
Yeah.
What do you think, say? What next?
Mr. Gordon,
Yes, sir.
is there like
The man right.
is there school competition?
No, there's no school competition.
For females?
There's no school competition, right?
For
No,
females?
there. Females, there was like games for them. So like festivals and that kind of stuff. But there was no
Okay.
competition.
Yo, do you know Rican Festival up it?
What
You go to a store that sell Caribbean breakfast and you come for festival.
Okay.
Festival is the mix.
All right. So they had festivals, right? So what they did was they had groups. So for example, they had a leeward group, they had a central group, and then they had another group because most schools didn't have enough players. So then you would play within the group a couple of games. But the festivals also, they tried to do dribbling and passing to see which school would have executed whichever task the best.
What did they set
And have a little-
stations?
Huh?
Had stations like, right?
Yeah, stations,
Okay.
and you rotate around
Yeah,
and compete against other schools, and then at the end you played games. So they had some festivals. Then I could tell you that Bethel High School had invitational games as well. So they invited high school, they invited other schools and so forth to play. But part of the problem was the Ministry of Education wasn't really forthcoming in terms of allowing. But the year that was following it would have happened if we didn't have all the interruptions.
COVID thing.
Yeah.
And football now starts here too.
Yeah, I saw it.
So here's a reflective question to you. For players who are 2 years old in the game, were the drills that you saw on the federation side was suitable for them.
For players what?
Who are 2 years into the game.
And how old are they players?
Again, they are
It
2
doesn't matter.
years. They are 2 years into the game.
7-year-olds, 7-year-olds.
It was such a handy for me, yo. Such a handy for me.
So you're saying,
I fight for you.
you
I
are
fight for
saying,
you.
you are saying,
7-year-old kids
you are saying,
is given to
so you are saying, sir, you are saying that developmental age has nothing to do with it.
huh?
Developmental age has nothing to do with it.
And
Has to do with
nationality.
skills and tactics.
And the nationality.
So this is why now I
And the
recognize.
nationality.
So this is why now I realize you're just talking for talking.
And the nationality.
Here why I realize you're talking for talking. First,
Right.
we fail because we have no competition, we have no development. You agree on that? That's where it happened. So
Yes.
who are the players you can get for you? Who they be?
Huh?
Who are they?
The ones who plays in school
Who are they?
programs.
Who are they? Which school program? There's none. Who they be?
Huh?
Tian,
Who
how
are
many?
they? Hold on, Sammy. Who are they? Who are they? Who are they? Who are they?
Okay.
Who are they? Let me hear
Okay.
it.
Let me break this down.
Let me break it down for me.
Relax.
Break it down for me.
Relax. Let me
I'm
break
calm.
this down.
I'm calm.
Okay.
Bro. Let me hear.
Okay.
Mm.
Who are they?
Uh-huh.
They are the players within the community.
How long have they been playing football?
Tian, you speak, you ask me a question.
My apologies, sir. My
You
apologies. Go ahead.
speak, you ask
Go
me a
ahead.
question.
Go
let
ahead,
me
sir.
finish.
My apologies. Go ahead. Go ahead.
They are the players within the community. Okay? The same players that you people fail to reach out to over the years.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
are the same players that are lacking development to all the years.
Mr. Gordon.
So strengthen my point. Keep strengthening my point. Go ahead. Continue.
Mr. Gordon. Mr. Gordon.
Hold on. Keep strengthening my point. Go ahead.
From U5 up.
Okay.
Okay? From U5 up. Okay?
Go ahead.
This is why I say that you guys fail.
Okay.
Fail in a very big way.
All right. Hold on, Sammy. Sammy.
The man just reached the.
Hold on, Sammy. Hold on.
Let me finish.
Hold on, Sammy. Let finish now.
Okay. And it's something that I am going to stress. Okay? Whether or not I don't care how you look at me or what. Okay? I don't care.
Do we need to say?
I don't care how you look at me. I will stick to my point.
Mr. Gordon.
Hold on, sir. Hold on.
Because
you are the man drunk now.
Hold on.
No.
Hold on.
This story is very atrocious.
Okay.
And it have everything to do with you guys.
Okay, all right. My turn now?
Yeah.
My turn? Okay.
Yeah,
hold on, man. Hold on, Sammy.
You just reached the.
Hold on, Sammy. It has nothing to do with that I reached it. It just goes to show that this gentleman is just talking for talking's sake. In my opinion. Here's why. I give you a chance, right?
I'm not.
I give you a chance. It's my chance now.
Okay.
Did these girls play under 5? Yes or no? Yes or no?
And tell me why not?
Yes or no? Did these girls play under 5? Stop.
Yeah,
Hold on, man. Hold on, Sammy.
I did not say under 5.
I asked your question. Just answer no. Yes or no?
5 years old.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
No.
Okay.
Why?
Did they play under 10?
Why?
Oh, Jesus
Why?
Christ. It's me. I give you the mic. It's my
Why?
mic now. It's my mic now. I am
Okay.
trying to get you to
All right,
understand what
cool.
I'm saying.
Cool.
Did they play on the 10?
I don't know.
Yes or no?
I don't know.
Yes or no?
No.
Okay, no.
We mean,
Did they play under 13 football?
yes.
Possibly.
No.
No,
But
they did not.
but
Hold
Theon
on,
Gordon,
Sammy, hold on.
Sammy.
Hold on. Hold
Sammy,
on.
we are trying to discuss the failure and incompetence of Theon,
Right,
Mamadela, and Bramblo.
right. Let us talk about it. So now you're saying they did not play up to the age of 13. Right? They did not play up to the age of 13. Yes, you're agreeing with that.
Mm.
You're agreeing with that? The girls
Yes.
did not play. Right, so you're agreeing with that. So now that they are 16, they are making a national under 17 team. How long have they been playing football in that case?
I tell you the 7.
Ah?
I tell you the 7.
No,
It's 2
hold
years.
on, hold on. Why he answer?
Yeah.
Why he answer? Go ahead,
Yeah.
answer. How long have they been playing football?
Butters, hey, Butters
How
and girls
long?
can play.
No, Sammy, relax now. How long?
2
are they playing
years.
football?
2
2
years.
years.
2 years.
2 years and
So,
you're in the national
oh
team.
Jesus Christ,
2
boy.
years and you're in the national team.
Let him
So if
let
it's
him land. Let him land.
let me land now, man. Let me land. So 2 years, you're referring the fact that they're under 17, they should be at a specific level. We have concluded that they are in training for 2 years, football for 2 years. But you are not accepting that the training that they have should be equivalent to a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Gordon, I want to say something. There's a little bit in the argument.
So if you come back again with that same talking, then I recognize you just harping and you
Yeah.
yes, so
Yeah.
then what's applying my argument? What's
Yeah.
applying my argument?
Okay,
Some of those girls. Wait. Some of those girls have been playing longer than that. A lot of them. Most of them.
Okay, hold on.
More than 2 years. Butters
Hold
and
on.
those girls can play.
Hold on.
Mr. Gordon,
Hold on. Butters have been playing for
Come
long
on.
time. Right?
Yes.
Right? Yes. Playing where?
Really? Yeah.
I ask you.
When I was down there in 2018,
Yes.
Butters was a big baller.
Butters could have dribbled and he could have do whatever. Since then, what?
You really want to go there?
Yeah.
Yes. Since then,
Yeah.
what?
Mr. Gordon,
Since then, what?
Mr. Gordon,
Yes, sir.
listen what I'm saying.
Yeah, let
You
me hear
see
the flow.
No, yeah. In the argument, in the construction.
Argument. Yes.
In the construction, right?
Go ahead, sir.
FIFA mandate says to all Premier Division field what they're supposed to have in the lineage of football. All Premier Division teams supposed to have what? A youth, a female team.
A
Right.
female team. A
Yeah.
female team.
So I'm saying none of them kids play.
Not a youth female team.
That's not a specific
Female
age
team.
group.
So none of them kids were playing in that development thing there.
You hear the man now tell you there was nothing significant done. I just tell you that. And even if there was a competition, more than likely these girls would have played roughly about 10 to 12 games. So then now, he is trying to be critical of a specific drill that is given to 2-year-olds in the game. And I'm trying to get him to see that, but he's telling me the national players under 17. So then really and truly,
hold on a second.
you're not trying to understand, you're just trying to make noise.
No.
Yeah,
no.
you're trying to make noise. You're trying to
I
make
have an
noise.
expectation.
Scrambler, you're not thinking. Scrambler. You're not thinking properly.
No. I have an expectation.
I want
What
to
are
tell
your
you this.
expectations?
Scrambler.
What are your expectations?
Huh?
Scrambler. 3 years ago, we had the best under 15 team. 3 years ago, we win some competition.
Male, they talking about male.
No, the female.
Female.
So what are you guys talking about? Like we know start.
They won.
I mean, when you think it's and once
Something.
Okay.
Right?
So you're
Yeah.
behaving like we know kicking about for the first step, Theon.
Jesus Christ. Sammy,
Nobody could be kicking for the
Sammy,
first time, but it still ain't had the
Sammy,
levels.
But
Sammy, did you
it was 3 years ago.
so a couple of things. It's hard for me to just do a presentation like that and then we hand this out.
No, we just
So the
want
fact,
you to be.
hold on. The fact that we won the competition meant that we're looking at a reflection technically. Yes? Technically.
Possibly.
Technically. Based on all this, no, technically. Practically. Do we know who they played against? Do we know how many games they played and what was the structure?
Exactly.
So the variables are not taken into consideration.
Next. Critically, do you know how they played and how they won and why they won?
No, and
Listen.
I have information on those games.
I'm
just
giving you some context. We can't just be superficial with it. We gotta dig deeper.
There's a lot of work. There's a lot of work to be done, guys. A lot of work.
Yes. So I still trying to figure out if this gentleman is reflecting on what he said. So he's saying that one, we fail the youths. So now they have 13, 14. We pull a couple of them together. We should train them like
13, 14.
Yeah. 13, 14, 15. That is.
Guys, listen to me, for the past 3 months, you have been training.
Yeah.
For the past 3 months.
Yeah. Correct.
You have been training.
Correct.
Who said that?
You see, Bramwell, and you are wearing up your uniform or something like that. Come on, man.
Yo.
You mean Jibel? Jibel?
No.
You are disguised to that Jibels. Yo. It's the national team.
Yo, Theon.
We're talking about.
Theon.
Yes, sir.
Said it on the radio.
So, all right. Could I ask you a question?
Hold on.
Guys, wait. Could I ask you a question?
Hold on.
Scammer. Wait. You wait. Scammer. You're the coach of the national team, right?
Yeah.
You coach in Jibels, whatever, under 17.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't you going to bring kids from the national team to train with you? Scrambler?
Yep.
Come on, man.
I did that with my ODP team.
Exactly. So there's nothing wrong with that practice.
Players, I know.
Yes. So you are making, what I'm saying, right? These girls, right? They will, in their own time, they'll come along.
Yeah.
We haven't even wait until the man come in and the man
said on the radio. Him said when the training start, it was like 3 months ago.
Yes, no, 3 months. Everybody know that. But
3 months ago.
You see. Listen to me. Theon ain't coming yet. Theon ain't coming with his program yet. So I don't know why you blaming,
Mr. Gordon.
I have everything to do with it, according to it, because I've been running it ever since, just never getting paid.
I was there too.
So, Mr. Gordon.
Yes, sir.
For that program now, you're gonna just have to increase the reps. That's where you're thinking to try to get the touches, the volume of touches for the kids. That's what you're gonna have to do, like training.
There's more to be done. There's more to be done other than the repetition. There's some stuff to be done.
No, man. You need to bring a specialized guy. Where Mohan? Mohan is not here. Where Mohan?
Yes, I mean.
Alejandro,
you quiet like that? And this is your area?
Alejandro, 5 minutes.
Observing, Sammy. Observing.
What's there to observe, Mohan? This is your area. You coach girls.
So that is your problem.
Flying Mohan for week now.
In your extended period in coaching, has it ever worked well when you rushed into anything?
No, I always win, so never.
I asked you a question. Has it ever been wise to rush into it?
No, never. So,
patience, brother. Is a problem.
So Mohan, we speaking about the girls. This is what you do. This is, you know, you did it this morning, you did it last week, you do it all week, you did it last year. Come on, give me some help now.
Easy, Sammy. I'm here at the disposal. I'm Vinci.
You sure you're Vinci? You sure you're from Vinci?
Sammy, I have 2 passports for Sammy.
Where's your passion? Where's your passion?
I want to know how we get a shot there. No. Federation never sell them shot there.
Who, me? Hold on a second.
The blue was the coaches, right?
Yeah. The blue was coaches. Yeah.
Look, brand new, and look, your virgin zip it.
What is it, Rossi?
It's special. It's special. Okay.
What is that, Rossi?
Yeah.
Man, this is Zoom, you know, man. Them bogus jerseys you bring in there. What's that? Am I with Rossi?
You want me to go for a jersey for you?
If it's red and black.
Yeah. Yeah. We jersey. We from New Jersey.
Mr. Carrington?
Man, I'm going for the jersey.
Does it look like Vinci colors? Eh? I don't want to talk about jersey. Look.
Back it up a little, right?
I don't want to show off, so I ain't gonna go too far down in the closet, right?
Well, let me see what you have.
Come on, man.
Okay.
I mean, I only have 2 more.
Okay.
No wonder you all want to buy from me.
You are Muslim? Eh?
And where it come from?
Federation office.
Federation office.
While you're on the subject of jersey,
Vinci play US.
I bet none of you had a school jersey.
Wisconsin.
I bet none of you put out the school jersey. None of you.
I have it.
Yeah.
But where I have it, I can't get it now.
Exactly.
I had the blue and white.
I wonder why. What?
I would score something. I would score the yellow score.
Welcome to Vinci Heat. We have work to do, gentlemen.
A lot of work, man. We're here to help you.
So, you don't send any application for the work?
Which work?
Come like you holding back on me.
Hold on. I spoke to a few of my sources, right? And the man them say, how much you make up here? And I'm like, with my regular job, and
Don't say.
no, with my regular job and soccer,
Plenty.
like it cover everything up here. The man them say, if you get a coaching job down there, you have to get another job.
I mean,
Look him.
Score! Big score!
I like jersey too.
Whatever.
Score.
Score from when? This year? No, this year. Score.
No.
Yeah, try me real thing, man. Come on, man.
I want to go for one, but I did too far.
So, on a serious note, I will like the U17 boys.
Come on.
But I don't want no long-term contract.
Scamra, how are you going to do this, Scamra? You live up here, you live in the US. How are you going to do it? How? You live in the US. Forget about,
Just give me a competition contract.
A competition for me is a year.
Okay.
Scamra.
So a year process of development.
Scamra, this is not a friend doing this thing, It's new blood there now. When you had to go to a Malaki and you had to go to Freddie and everything.
Theon.
Yes, sir.
Theon.
Yes, sir.
My TV speaks a million. Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Better than all the youth coaches there.
That's
Could
good.
I ask you a question? I want to ask you a question.
Even the head coach.
I want to ask you a question.
The
If you don't understand the coach, are you going to bring your son in?
No, my son will be too old. Yes.
So let me tell you something about my process, right?
Yeah.
Tell you something about my process. You could select who you want, but we have to agree on them.
Huh?
You could select whomever you want, but we have to agree on them.
Agree in what? In what way, though? I mean,
Process.
So you say Sammy Carrington. My question would be why Sammy Carrington? So you have convinced me why Sammy Carrington. So we have agree on
and selection of players.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the new selection committee process?
Brother,
I mean, they have a right.
you representing me,
The TD could go right in. This to be the one. The TD could go right in. But Scamra, there's a double standard in her. You think you don't really see that thing? You think you go to Mokri side and ask Mokri why? When I can't think.
Me? Yo, and it is the reason why I did not take the job a few years ago with the under 17.
Who didn't get the job?
Because it was the same process.
Scamra.
I am not going to select a team for you.
Okay.
You gotta tell me why you're choosing these particular posts. So for example, when you choose Sammy, I can tell you what's the difference between Sammy and Chuku. If you can't give me no substantial reason, then I know you're biased.
But then you really want to go through all that kind of same thing?
You have to.
Yeah?
You have to.
You're biased?
Yo, in 2012, my son was down there, it was the same thing. Albert tell me,
He's not good enough.
Gentlemen, I gotta go. How long I give you the hug?
Yeah. How could you have an engagement on Wednesday night?
I could leave the Zoom open for you if you want.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah. I have another engagement.
But this is Wednesday night.
You gotta understand, we're going on with me for the past 2 weeks, right?
Thank you, Theon. Theon. Thank you.
I ain't Samuel tonight at all, but we Samuel late.
Sometimes you just gotta listen. Sometimes you just gotta listen, you know?
Listen and reflect. And reflect.
Okay, gentlemen, I didn't sleep last night, so it's good that I get all the sleep tonight.
Yeah, you have seven of us here, man.
No confessions.
Yeah.
And he and Sammy did up last night plotting how they gonna harass me today.
Yo, you wish.
Listen, but guys. Yeah, you have seven people in the corner right there, man. We believe in you, man. We love you. We believe in you.
We go vibes, man.
All right, guys, take care.
Work in progress.
Yo, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right.
Cool.
We may talk to him.
Talk to you.